Time to find out.
Hey everyone, Justin Crumley here with the Cujo Productions channel. Welcome to another edition of The Film Cave. Today we're going to be talking about The Black Phone 2. This was directed by Scott Derrickson, and it stars Mason Thames, Madeline McGraw, and Ethan Hawke. A few years have passed since the first film, and our main characters, Finney and Gwen, are now teenagers. Gwen is being haunted by nightmares of 3 little boys being murdered at a Christian winter camp. The two of them go to investigate what her visions are about, only to discover that the grabber, or rather his evil spirit, is still lingering around and is seeking revenge. Before I go any further, I am going to issue a bit of a spoiler warning for The Black Phone, the first one, which the film's about 4 years old. I know it's kind of silly to give a spoiler warning for a film that's 4 years old, but nonetheless, I'm going to be fair. However, Black Phone 2, completely safe, no spoilers at all, not going to give away a thing, so no worries there. The first thing I'll say is I think your enjoyment of this film is mostly going to depend on what your opinion was of the supernatural elements of the first film was. So, for example, the character Gwen has this ability, she gets these clairvoyant visions in her dreams, and she can actually interact with the dreams and see what's going on. It's established in the first film that her and Finney's mother also had this ability, and that she killed herself in the first, not in the first film, but before the first film. It's explained that the mother killed herself because of these visions. I thought this was a very good film. I really did. I was a bit skeptical going in. The trailers had me kind of thinking something like Nightmare on Elm Street. I'm sure we were all thinking about it when we saw the trailers of the grabber going after Gwen, asking her about what happens when you die in your dreams. Come on, we were all thinking about Freddy Krueger in that scene. No? This is probably as close to a spoiler as I'm going to get for the Black Phone 2. It's not like Nightmare on Elm Street. It's really not. And I'm really glad to say that. I really enjoyed this film. The more I think about it, the more I actually really want to go back and see it again. I'm not even going to lie. It not only expands on the story, but it also expands on the backstory of our main characters. As I mentioned already, it's established in the first film that the mother committed suicide, and their father was like a drunk. He was very abusive in the first film. In the second film, again, maybe a minor spoiler, he's not a drunk. He's not even really in the film that much, but the few times that you see him, he's not drinking at all. He's been sober for a few years. You start to see the improvement that his character has undergone in just that short amount of time. You also see how far the character Finney has fallen, how being kidnapped by the grabber in the first film has really traumatized him, and it's really just kind of settled with him in all the worst ways possible. Again, I won't give details, even just a little bit, but Mason Thames absolutely nails it with this character. He sells the trauma, he sells the attitude that I think one would have when putting up shields and trying to hide their insecurities. He plays the character very well. I also want to give a shout out to Madeline McGraw, who plays the character Gwen. She sells the emotional scenes really well. She's really good in the scenes where she is trying to be stronger, and Yeah, like, I thought she was really good in this movie. There's also a couple of references to Dante's Inferno, which there's also a couple references to Dante's Inferno, which is really cool. I actually, I'm an atheist myself. A little bit of a backstory on me. But I have read Dante's Inferno. I have it downloaded on my Audible, and my favorite and my best deck in Yu-Gi-Oh is the Burning Abyss. So, yeah, anytime I see any kind of like Dante's Inferno, anything, I always think that's pretty cool. If I do have a complaint at all, I would say that there are times where the dialogue is a bit clunky. There are times where the dialogue is a bit silly. It's only a few scenes. I don't think it's enough to like really tear down the film or like, oh, it's a bad film. It's really bad. But I thought this was a very satisfying ending to the Black Phone as a whole, the story itself. I was of the belief that there did not need to be a sequel to the first one. I thought the first one was fine enough. I thought it was a really good film. I've seen it a couple times. And yeah, I personally, I just thought, like, there doesn't need to be a sequel. As I said at the beginning of this review, I was very skeptical about this movie. Like, going in, I was very skeptical. The trailers really didn't do much for me. It was very surprising. Probably one of the biggest surprises of the year, next to Good Boy. Yeah, I just thought it was a very good film, a very satisfying ending to the first one, and that leads me to the last thing I'm going to say. I don't think there needs to be another film in this in the Black Phone. They're really, I think they put a nice ending on this one. I don't think we need to see the grabber come back again. I thought this was fine enough. I thought it tied up all the loose ends. I thought it expanded very well on the main characters. If there is to come a time where the Black Phone 3 does end up being made and is released, I will, of course, go see it. I really enjoyed the first film. I really enjoyed this one. I actually kind of go back and forth on which one I like better. I think these are hidden gems as far as horror. Scott Derrickson should be very proud of himself. Mason Thames, Madeline McGraw, very good in their performances. Ethan Hawke was also really creepy for the little amount of time that he's on screen. Yeah, like overall, I thought this was a very solid follow up to the first film. I thought it was a very satisfying ending to the first film, and just overall, I would absolutely recommend that you guys go check this one out in theaters. Or if you prefer to wait for films to hit streaming, definitely check this one out. Maybe even check it out in the winter time because it takes place during the winter. Yeah, maybe it's one of those films like Die Hard where people debate if it's a Christmas film. Okay, no one's actually gonna do that. It's just got a lot of winter scenery in it. So, could you guys imagine if people started debating if the Black Phone 2 is a Christmas film? You know what? I would jump into that debate, and I would jump in, and I would weigh in pretty serious. Like I'm not even joking. I probably would. Anyway, guys, that's all I have for you today. If you guys have seen the Black Phone 2, let me know what you guys thought in the comment section below. Also, be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Hit that thumbs up button. It really helps. Until next time, I'm Justin Crumley. This is Cujo Productions saying, stay awesome.